morning! Last week you learned everything about DNA, this incredible molecule that gives living things its very specific characteristics. So this week we're going to talk about how does DNA and all of the letters, the A's, the T's, the C's, the G's, and the combinations of those nitrogen bases, how do they actually function? How does it actually code for a gene? And basically a gene is just a section of DNA that codes for a specific protein. So everything about all that we do is about proteins. So DNA actually serves as an instruction manual. It is the instructions that the cell needs on how to make all the different proteins that our body needs in order to survive. Not just our bodies, but all living things, plants, fungus, everything that is considered a living thing. So this process is called protein synthesis because we are synthesizing or making a protein, and we're going to use the instructions from DNA in order to make the protein. Now this is a great story of overcoming a major obstacle. So in our cells, all of this DNA, which you learned last week, is stuck in the nucleus and it can't get out, it's too big. But all of the ribosomes, which are kind of the assembly plants for the protein, this is where the proteins are put together, they're outside of the nucleus. So the cell has to come up with some way to get the instructions, which are over here, out of the nucleus over to the ribosomes where the factory can kind of put those proteins together. And so it's going to use RNA to do that. RNA is going to be the go-between between the instruction manual and then the place where these things are actually put together. Please read the specific sections in your textbook. There's 2 of them, 9.3 to 9.5. And also please watch the first lecture video that's posted. That's my lecture video because it should help make this whole series of events a lot easier to understand. You do have a guided notes as usual, and there's three or 4 videos posted, but the first one is probably the most important one. And then also your content practice is also your lab activity for this week. So we kind of combine them into one. So you're going to be using the computer to kind of see or manipulate how this process works. And then you have an exam. So again, no Let's Talk this week. Kind of a little bit easier week in terms of things that you need to turn in part because this is a little bit complicated. If you have questions, do not hesitate to ask. So if I'm being super honest with you, I think this is the last really hard material in this course before we move into things you're a little bit more familiar with, like systems of the body and evolution. So have a fantastic week.